All right. What?
I love these intros, Sam. Every time we have a... We don't know. We always have a good time.
We hope.
Checking out these intros are always just a funny time.
All righty. Well, yesterday we did our top 10 Essen games that we know were good, even though there may have been some disagreement amongst that and hijinks, which was mostly Sam's fault. But we struggled through the top 10 list regardless.
That is not true, Sam. I'll back you up on this one.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's it. This is the last time we got backed up on this top 10. Okay. Remember this.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of crossover because I think the games I'm interested in, you guys are not as interested in these.
Sure.
I think we're going to have a couple that'll crossover.
A couple crossovers.
Really?
I'm pretty sure I'm going to have at least two with no, because you put that one on a different list, I think.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Like,
maybe.
One of us have a game on this list that was on
the other list?
You guys don't have any that were on my list.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys don't have any that you would have played. These are definitely not out.
Yeah,
we've never.
Not that other list. Other list that you're doing.
Oh, my. Yeah.
Because I heard you talking about.
Some games I did not put on these because I'm doing a top 5 for solo gamers. So yeah, maybe a top 5 for large groups, 8 or more. So mostly party games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also doing a top 10 games with unique themes, but I put them on this list first.
Oh, so
if they No. What I'm saying is, if they are on that list, it's because they weren't good enough to make this list. What I mean is, there's some games that with some unique themes actually on this list, but I don't want to put them on multiple lists. No.
That makes sense.
Well, I really have no idea. And here's the thing. We talk about this. We don't know if these games are good. Every year, people say, hey, remember you made that top 10 anticipated game for whatever? We're like, yes. Don't ask us about those again. Because sometimes...
No, we don't know. We're just speculating here.
And sometimes it will be anticipated on my list, and when I get the game, I'm like, I'm never going to play it.
It's bad, huh?
It's happened a few times.
Yeah, it does happen. It just goes to the power of, advertising. Sometimes you see something that looks really good. It sounds really good. You get it in your hands, you read the rule book maybe, and you're just not excited by it anymore. So we were talking about before we started streaming here that I'll be very happy if half of these turn out to be really good. I'll be very happy. But I'll settle for a third because that's pretty good. Again, there's a total amount of speculation here except for one of these games.
That would be 3 1/3 of another game.
Yeah, it seems
he
about
starts playing and it's like, it's pretty good. After a while, I was like, nah, it's not so good. But you know what? I reached my percentage.
That's all I needed. I just need to enjoy 33% of that one play.
Quota.
Yeah, don't know anything about these. I've played one of these games in prequel form, kind of, sort of. We'll talk about that.
Let's begin.
Number 10.
All right. My number 10 that's on the screen isn't actually my number 10 anymore.
Dun, dun, dun!
I was thinking about it, and I didn't want to include, go ahead and put it up there, The Walking Dead Something to Fear, because it has player elimination, and I usually shy away from player elimination. But I liked the theme, and I do like Skybound games, so I'm interested in it. It's my 11. My real 10 that I've replaced The Walking Dead Something to Fear with is Conspiracy Abyss Universe, and there aren't pictures for that.
Oh, I was going to say, if Roy had changed a picture, I'd have been like, wait a minute.
I didn't do that. But anyway, Conspiracy Abyss Universe is a card game in which you're going to be taking, I think you can either draw 1 to 3 cards from your deck. You're building a reverse pyramid. So you're starting at the top, but you're building the bottom of a pyramid on the top, and then you're going with 5 cards, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. And so when you do that, you can either draw 1 to 3 cards from the deck, or you can take all of one color that's not been taken by another player. So you're going to take 1 to 3 of those cards. You're going to draw 1 to 3 cards, and then you're going to place them in your row. And then you're going to discard any ones that you don't want. and then ones that have a certain color on future rounds. You can take that or the 1 to 3. You're building your thing, you're trying to get these location cards, you're trying to score the most points. It sounds really interesting. And on top of that, the artwork, which I always liked for Abyss, I just didn't like the game very much.
Oh, this is the same universe.
Yes. That's why it says Conspiracy Abyss Universe.
Well, that doesn't mean any. I mean, people use the same words in different games.
It's by Bumpix as well.
Ah, well, there.
Who's the
I
designer?
didn't know because there was no picture.
Believe it's Catala. Yeah. It's going to be on his list, which is...
If you don't have pictures, hang on.
Hang on. But anyway, that's my number 10, Conspiracy Abyss Universe by Bumpix.
All right, my number 10 pick is, oh, well, you know, I lied about having played the precursor to one. I played the precursor to this, too. This is Yggdrasil, or Yggdrasil, however you want to say it, Chronicles.
Ooh.
I thought this was essentially the same game.
What was
It's
the
not
precursor?
Yggdrasil.
Oh, Yggdrasil? Okay.
Yeah, the co-op game. It's from the same designer. They reworked it. Now it's called this. Now it seems like basically a different game, Tom. It's still cooperative, but they've gone back to the drawing board. You are now going through, it sounds like a campaign with this. That's
how many campaigns do we need in the game?
I'll tell you right now, it's my 10 because of all those same questions. I'm excited. I'm also thinking, this is going to be better than the original, or the things that they are adding, helping or hurting? Because the original game was not bad, it was extremely punishing, and it got repetitive very quickly. The repetitive thing, I'm hoping, is being addressed. Is there other stuff that's being added I don't care for? I don't know that.
I think the campaign, I mean, I read up on this. This may or may not be on my list. But the campaign thing looks like something you can do extra.
Sure, but that's the point, right? I mean, that's why I'm excited about a new version of the game. The tree stuff.
It's supposed to be like really like
story game, yeah.
Story driven. That the campaign version of it at least.
Right. So I am excited about it. We'll see. This one is, again, my 10 because I'm real tentatively excited about it. Yggdrasil Chronicles.
Have you ever beaten Yggdrasil?
Nope, I never did. I got within one card because that game, the original game, scaled easier with fewer. I don't know if you remember that, but like playing solitaire.
No, the more players, it's impossible.
Yes,
I really think.
right. The original printing, anyway. And I got within one card once playing solitaire. I was one card away from winning, and I never did win that game. I eventually got rid of it, but no, it was truly tough.
All right, my number 10 is the lowest on my list because I guess I'm the least excited about it, but I'm still interested in it, but because it's the third in a series now, you know, it's the same, and that's Azul Summer Pavilion.
Yeah, baby.
So I like Azul.
Rumbai.
And I liked the stained glass one better. I'm even more excited about this particular one because of the shapes of it. Again, it's the drafting tiles, and you're putting these tiles in, but then you're putting them in these, I don't know, the whole shape thing and putting them in the flowers on the board. This kind of has me more intrigued, I suppose. So, it's by Michael Kiesling from Plan B Games.
Yeah.
It's going to sell 1 million copies. Not a million, but it's going to sell a lot.
That's a lot of copies.
I think the Azul fervor is a little bit less than it's been.
Well, let's wait till less.
Well, let's wait till Essen to see how it is.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't see people playing the stained glass one as much as the first one, though.
I guess
First one is still, I see it being played every once in a while. It's one of those new games for new gamers that people bring out.
Sure.
Although I think the second one, I like it better.
Well, it is less user-friendly, technically, right? I mean, there's a little more going on.
Stained glass didn't get released at a big convention, though, did it?
Wasn't it released at Essen last year?
Oh, maybe it was.
All I know is every year.
Is the first one 3 years old then?
Yeah, I think
No,
so.
2 years,
2
because
years?
we are literally 2 years from that Essen.
Yeah.
And that was the year I remember it sold like 2,000 copies at Essen, which is like mind-blowing for a game to sell that much there.
I think they're going to have a new Azul game at Essen for the foreseeable future, 40 to 60 years.
Which will last longer? Azul.
When you go to Target, if they're still around, there's going to be a whole aisle of nothing but Azul games.
That's right. Eventually, they'll just pick a different color. They'll be like, Verde.
Great. All right, anyway, my number 10, Azul Summer Pavilion.
Number 9.
All right, my number 10. Back to pictures. This one is called Frankenstein. And this is another card game where you are going to be set collecting. The reason it's on my list is because I do like this story. I like this theme. Other games that we've played in the recent past handle that theme in a fairly dark and morbid way. This one doesn't seem to do that as dark and morbidly. So it handles
Just
the
random
theme-
games we're talking about here.
Yeah, just random games. It handles the theme lightheartedly, at least more lightheartedly than others. It's
Yeah, well, I hope they don't
inexpensive.
get like a cease and desist from Universal, because that's pretty close to Universal's Frankenstein.
Sure, don't care about that, but I'm just excited to try the game. I like the theme, and it's lighthearted. It's a filler game, which is another thing. I like filler games that have a pop and they have a theme that you can grab onto. So that's another thing I'm kind of looking for as well. It's from Invadars. Never heard about them though, so who knows? Might be good, might not be good, but the artwork looks good, and it's going to be a quick play as well. So that's my number 10, Frankenstein.
9.
Yeah.
9, yes, sorry.
All right, my number 9.
Oh, I was saying no.
9. My number 9 is a little card game called Orb Hunters. And the main thing that put this on my radar was the look of the game. It's got really cool artwork. There we go.
Yay!
There's the artwork. And this is the same artwork as, it's from the same artist, rather.
Oh yeah, that does look good.
That does all the, all those Paladins of the West Kingdom,
that
all
might-
that jazz.
He and Dutrade are having like a contest so you can
That
pump out the
might
most
be
art.
the prettiest Cyclops I've ever seen.
It's really cool. It looks great.
No,
yeah.
Leela!
Huh?
Leela is not a Cyclops.
They call her Cyclops multiple times,
She is
and then she kicks you in the face.
a mutant. So the gameplay, the company that's putting this out, by the way, is I believe they're from Spain. I might be mistaken, but I think Ediciones Primigenio is from Spain. And it's a little hand management game. It's got great artwork, like I said. I like the iconography on the cards. It has a, from what I read online, there's a shade of a Take That group selection, or a card selection vibe going on. I'm excited to try it. Again, I like these kinds of fillers, and if the game matches what I'm getting from the artwork, I'm going to be happy, I think. That's all I need from this one. Not every game needs to blow my mind. If this turns out to be a really pleasant little filler, I'll be content. So that's my number 9 pick, Orb Hunters.
Cool.
What's up? What do you got?
This one's moving up on mine. That looks pretty good. All right, my number 9 is the most boring looking game on all 3 of our lists. I'm sure of it. And I know this isn't on YouTube because of how it looks. And that's Maracaibo for the new strategy game from Alexander Pfister.
It was popping for sure, though, on the
Oh,
hotness
people are going
lists.
crazy. I mean, the board looks a lot better. Once I look at the board, I'm like, oh, okay.
That's not bad.
No, the cover is just so generic.
Been there, done that.
Oh my word, listen, it's set in the Caribbean during the 17th century. Players try to increase their influence in 3 nations in 4 rounds.
How many rounds?
4.
How many nations?
It's 40 minutes per player. So anyway, you're moving around the Caribbean and you need to sail, but there's a quest mode and a little story in the game. And you move your ship around the course, managing it by using cards like other games he does. That's his thing. Use a card and do different
Alexander
things.
Pfister needs to change his titling scheme for all his games to be like, that's my goods.
Oh my goods, that's my goods, here's my goods.
Yeah. Caribbean goods.
I got your goods.
Caribbean goods would be good for this one. Yeah.
Bats and goods. All right, so.
Oh my goods, the lights went out. In Tokyo, right? Is that where it is?
No, what's that called now? It's Hong Kong.
I got Hong Kong, that's it. I never forgot what it was called. All right.
Anyhow, I don't know a whole lot about this game, but it's his big game of Essen.
All right.
It's getting a lot of buzz. I do tend to like his games.
Yeah.
He's put out some solid games, and so this one looks like you can see the board slightly better than last year's Hong Kong Blackout.
That's not a non-attractive cover, I have to say. I don't like the title and where it is.
Well, when you said it was the most boring game on all of our lists,
That's because the rest of my games look interesting.
I was expecting
Actually, my number 7
really
isn't that
bad
interesting.
look.
either.
Yeah.
That's not a really bad look.
I'm managing expectations.
That's good. That's a good move. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of what I do when I play Alexander Pfister games. I manage expectations.
Maracaibo, my number 9.
All right, my number 8. Now, usually I don't mind roll and write games, but I'm really kind of not happy with how most roll and write games look. They look really drab. It's usually like colors and shapes, and you roll a 6, and that's this shape on you. You have to mark that little shape in on your thing. Well, this roll and write is done in the Kingsburg universe, and it's called Kingsburg, the dice game.
Yeah, when I saw this, I
is
thought you might be tempted.
This is a city building roll and write game, which sounds interesting to me. So I don't really have much more than that. Kingsburg is one of my favorite games. It's a city building game, which I usually like lighter city building games, which is what this really is. And so it made my list. So I like it. I think it's going to be cool, but who knows? With a roll and write game, it could be forgettable, or it could be really cool. I like that it's starting off on the looks good side of it, because most roll and writes don't look good. Very few of them do, in my opinion, at least. So that's my number 8, Kingsburg, the dice game.
It's only missing on that cover. That king should have some dice in his hand that are bursting forth and getting closer to the cover. With some streaks of colors, maybe.
No.
How am I supposed to know this is roll and write?
Or
If
the
they don't
dice,
have, like-
the dice are like rolled. The dice are like moving and becoming buildings as
Yes.
they're falling into the city.
Yes.
No.
I will say this, though. I like Kingsburg a lot. And I like the new printing of Kingsburg, but it leaned a little towards the drab side, as opposed to the bright and colorful
color
one.
palette, yeah.
And I feel like they're
sticking
doubling
with that.
down
No,
on
they're
that with
sticking
this thing.
that.
Well,
That,
I mean,
the
they're
board,
sticking with the branding. They have to.
the
almost.
board doesn't look that good.
No, but it's okay.
I never did play the new one. But anyway, all right, my number 8 pick, guys, is a game called Glenmore 2 Chronicles. This is my second game that A, has the word Chronicles in it, and B, is a reprint of something else. And they figured the path to success with a reprint was the word Chronicles. This one's going to take the base game of Glenmore, which I have played many years ago, and I did like it, and they're adding a bunch of stuff to it. So you've got that game in there, but now you've got a bunch of different modules. There is simply more content packed in there. This is from a company called Fun Tales, which I think this is their only thing so far, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks neat. Again, this is on the list because I like Glenmore. I know it's been out of print for a long time. It's very expensive and hard to find. And I'm glad to see this becoming available. You know, having, just being there for more people to not just experience the original game, but those of you that have played it and liked it, there hopefully will be more cool stuff for it in that box. I have seen the box for this prototype, and it is huge. It's a really large, heavy box. So a lot there. And this is a much more boring cover than Maracaibo or whatever you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But
I like the
again,
perspective on this one, though.
I don't think anybody's
And
going to be
looking
picking.
down in a valley.
I don't think anybody's picking this up because of the cover. You want to play some Glenmore.
All right.
Number 8.
My number 8 is a really cool-looking game, actually, although it has a very generic name, and that's Aquatica. And I believe there's other games. When I was looking for this information, I think there's Aquatico, and there's some other games like this that already exist. But this one, I'm hoping, this is not the only game coming out at Essen that's with this deep sea diving. Of course, the one from Deep Blue from
Days of Wonder,
which I was not a huge fan of, but this one looks, that's close to Abyss. I don't know, I just like that
Absolutely.
underwater diving thing. And this is from the same company, Cosmodrome, who made Smartphone, which I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
This is a first-time designer, as far as I can tell, making this game. And you're buying locations, recruiting new characters. Actually, when I was reading the description, I thought, doesn't seem that different than Abyss, actually.
Right.
So I mean, it obviously is. But it's going to be compared, I think.
I like that cover a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually the exact same perspective as Deep Blue.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
is.
almost the exact same cover. One's cartoony, one is a little more creepy.
Honestly, the people on that ship should be wetting their pants. Because that
Well,
creature
they can't
is...
see under the water.
No,
though.
they just see
only
that fin.
The fin. They're like, oh, a big shark. That ain't no shark. That's a sea monster.
That's the tip of the iceberg creature. So my number 8, Aquatica.
Nice.
Number 7.
My number 7 is also from Cosmodrome Games, and this one is called Skytopia.
Yeah, I thought about putting this one on.
Skytopia is where you're going to be taking
That's so cute.
golems, workers, and placing them in certain areas so that you can build certain buildings and add them to the landscape. In this one, though, time matters, but it's not a real-time game. There is a time that from the description on BGG, it talks about some unique mechanic where if you use less time, in other words, you build the building faster, you have to pay more money to do that, but you can, or you can use less time and spend less money. I'm sorry, more time and spend less money. Did I say that right?
Sure,
You
why
spend
not?
less time, spend more money, or you spend more time and less money to build your stuff. Anyway, I like the look of the game. I like the theme of the game where you're using these robots, or rather golems, to build your different buildings within the city. I like that idea. So I'm hoping that it looks good. I'm hoping that it plays good as well. So that's my number 7 from Cosmodrome Games, Skytopia.
I have to say, there seems to be this fascination in fantasy with these floating cities. This is not the only one that does that.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know that I'd
cities
want to
are
live in a floating city. How do you get down?
You obviously
You use the golem elevator. Get
Die.
on my hand. No.
That's really scary. No way.
If this guy was fixing the things, I'd be like, that's cool, but we're going to be like on a different island while he does this, just in case.
It's like fumigating. You don't want to be in there, you know.
Because if I'm building something, there's a chance I'm like, oops.
that's right.
I agree. What if he's holding you and then he has to sneeze or something?
I don't think a robot sneezes.
Now you're just getting
Oh,
ridiculous.
the magician who's controlling him sneezes. The robot's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. All right. Next up for me is my number 7. This is a game coming out from Haba, and this is also from Michael Kiesling, a game called Miyabi. And this one is a very attractive looking game. The pictures looked a little prototypey still. What you're looking at there looks like it's still basically a prototype. But I read the rule book. I know a little bit more about it, and it sounds neat. Very much like an Azul type game. You are in an abstract manner putting out tiles, creating different collections of flowers, patterns, and scoring those things. It really very much read like, okay, Azul-esque concept. Not necessarily a one-to-one, and there is none of that drafting concept in this, like there is in Azul and the follow-ups. But it seems neat. It seems like a really good family game, and Haba's family line of games is pretty good overall. They're not all hits, but they're overall well thought out and well implemented games. This one looks like it's going to be an upward swing for them again. I really like Karuba. That was in their first stab at family games. And they've had some ups and downs. This looks like another really exciting game I want to try. This looks thinky, but not heavy, you know? Miyabi, my number 7 pick.
Cool.
all right, my number 7 is a crossover with Z Garcia.
Ew.
I know. Main difference is he played the first game and I did not, and that is Glenn Moore.
You got to get on that whole playing.
I know that's definitely. I know. I'm a hack. I don't.
They're all about this cold of the new.
But my picture has movement.
Ooh, I done messed up.
So
Look at that.
Where did you get that?
From the Kickstarter.
Oh.
If I'm not sure, the Kickstarter campaign is usually a good place to find pictures.
That's cool, man. Look at that. Look at all that crazy extra
That's how you
stuff.
put a game away pretty fast. Anyhow, I've never played Glenmore. It's one of those games that consistently people are like, you got to play it. And I was like, all right, 2019 will be the year I play it. And then I saw it on Kickstarter and I was like, nope, I'll just wait for the new one.
Yeah.
But then I heard, essentially this is a sequel to the first one, but it feels like when I read over and hear about it, that it's more of a 1.5.
Sure.
So bigger tiles, better materials. The first one looked really boring, honestly. And then there's
Yeah, no,
that.
it's not a looker for sure.
The 8 expansions. All right, great, but I've never even played the game. Right, let me play the game before I worry about these 8 expansions. But I don't know, seems interesting to me. So my number 7, Glenmore 2 Chronicles.
Cool.
Number 6.
All right, my number 6 is a crossover with Mr. Vazel.
Is it a French game?
No. Well,
Wait.
maybe.
Oh, I just threw my list into 4.
Probably not.
Wait, let me think. Which of my games? Is it the other Cosmodrome game?
No.
Aquatica?
Nope.
Is it Azul?
Yes.
Huh.
Yep.
I would not have picked you for picking an Azul.
Next Move Games. Frankly, the only reason this is on my list this year is because I like Sintra so much. I did not like the original that much. The changes that they made in Sintra I like better. And I also like the shapes, the change in shapes here. You had squares in the first one, squares in the second one. Here we have rhombi, I believe what they're called, rhombuses, rhombi. And
He said rhombi.
it looks...
I'll get you into math yet?
What?
I said run by when we started.
Shut up, no one heard
I'll
you.
be quiet.
It's an abstract strategy game, but this is the kind of abstract strategy game that I actually enjoy because...
The ones that make money.
No, the ones that actually look appealing
Oh, okay.
on the
And
board,
therefore make
on the
money.
table.
Well, that is true, baby. If you want to make an abstract strategy game, stop making things that look like
Right.
an old man
Black
fell
and white
asleep in the middle of
discs
making it.
that get stacked on top of each other at different levels.
Ooh, that's on my list. Coming up.
Anyway, that's my number 6, Azul Summer Pavilion.
All right. My number 6 pick is a game called Dale of Merchants Collection.
I
Dale
feel
of
like
Merchants.
you've already played this one. This feels like a stretch to put on this one.
This is a new
So did
set.
Glenn
This is
Moore.
like saying Dale of Merchants 3.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah,
there's-
but this includes the first two, I think.
It does not. It's just a box where you can house the original 2.
Ah.
This is a large box, like the Ticket to Ride size box, but it has a new game in there. You could call that Dale of Merchants 3. And it's going to have new characters, new abilities, a bunch of different little modules in it. And the box will have then an insert where you can put your Dale of Merchants 1 and 2, which I do have. And so I actually got really, really close to backing this on Kickstarter. I didn't pull the trigger on that. I backed very, very few things. But this looks really good. And so I'm excited not just about the new content and the ability to mix and match with the original games, but even just as a storage solution, this is the way to do it, I think. So really excited for it. It's a deck building game.
The only problem is what if you buy this and you don't have the other games? Then you got a big box with a game rattling around in it.
Yeah.
How much difference is there between 1 and 2?
Oh, it's all new cards. It's like between Dominion and like one of the other standalones.
So it's the same game.
It's the same game. with
Sure.
new
Played it
cards.
before.
Well, different cards.
No.
It's different cards.
Well, I don't know that I want to necessarily jump down that Shadespire path there.
What's Shadespire Path?
Well, those are the same game with just different models and slightly different rules.
Right, and I put it on the game that I know is good. I put it on that list, not on
Well,
this
no, because you played that. I'm talking. You put them on 2 different lists before for best of the year and stuff.
list. No, but that wasn't a. Whatchamacallit?
Well, Z is hoping that the cards in this one. Why am I defending you?
But he's all. I mean, I
give
don't
me some
care
money.
what game he puts on his list. The whole thing about this list is that we don't know if it's going to be good or not.
Yeah, but these cards might suck. They might. There's always one card in here I don't like. One of the animals, he always makes an attack animal, and I never like that one. The one that hurts
Okay.
other people.
All right.
Or the die animal, whatever that is random.
I love that
I
animal.
like that one.
I'm
Anyway.
just saying I've never played any iteration of any of these games before, unless you count Azul, which may be very similar, but that's the only one.
Cool. My number 6 pick, Dale of Merchants Collection.
My number 6 is. Who's the company who made this one? Game Brewer. Game Brewer. Oh, they're actually right by our one booth. That's Fuji Koro. Mount Fuji is about to erupt.
That's not good.
Yeah, that sounds so good.
good.
Red hot lava will soon consume the 3 secret sanjai, sacred temples that are hidden. Our
Whoa.
heroes have to explore, find relics, and get back to safety.
Oh, that looks cool.
It does look cool, although it's really weird. I didn't put this on the thing because I didn't want to do multiple pictures. That's the base game board.
Uh-huh.
There is the deluxe game board. They are nothing alike. The
Okay.
deluxe game board is amazing looking. That board looks fine, but the deluxe board looks fantastic. Anyhow, here's my concern. This game would have been higher, but Fuji Koro can be played in a competitive mode with 2 to 6 players or a cooperative mode with 1 to 6 players. No. No. It's one of those two.
Which one?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Why are you arguing? You remind me of someone.
What is
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Make one good game.
A game
not
is cooperative
two so-so
or
games.
competitive. It's not both. Name a good game that's both cooperative and competitive. There ain't any.
People need to stop succumbing to this idea of like, we need to give you all things in a box. Just make it one or the other and make it really good.
Anyway, I do like
Doesn't need adjustments like that. You don't have to do everything.
that you're fighting dragons, exploring the cave, getting magical gear. It's like a Japanese themed dungeon crawl type thing. I'm all on board with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's a first-time designer, so I'm looking forward to it. But I'm just got to figure out which mode is the right one. I'm guessing cooperative. I'm guessing competitive is we all are dungeon crawling, and at the end of the game, whoever has most points wins, type thing.
That's good.
Yeah, whatever.
I want to feed my opponents to the dragon.
Alrighty, that's my number 6, Fuji Koro.
Number 5.
All right, my number 5 is from Aporta Games, and the reason this one hit the list almost purely is because of the unique theme that's on there. It's called Offshore. This is where you're building up different networks of offshore oil rigs, and you can open up new territories for digging for oil, but you can do it by yourself, or you can do it with other players.
So it's competitive or cooperative?
No, there is a temporary cooperation is what the designer called it. There is definitely only going to be one winner at the end, but sometimes it might be advantageous for you to go in with opening a new area with another player, and then hopefully you'll capitalize on that area more than the other person will. I like that tension that's there. It's, again, it seems like it's on the lighter side of semi-cooperative, where you don't always have to cooperate with everybody else. I'm always interested in that to see if it works on this game. So and the theme is really what made it pop for me more than anything else. I haven't seen hardly any that I recall, at least, oil rig platform building games. So
I don't know
like
much about oil platforms. Do they often have those windmills on them?
Those are power generators.
No, I know what it is. I've never seen it on an oil rig picture
I don't think
before.
I ever have either, but I'm not saying that.
It seems like a dichotomy of clean energy being turned into oil. It's just an interesting idea.
You know what one fan said to the other, though? He said, "What kind of music do you like?" And the guy said, "Well, I'm a huge metal fan." And the guy said, "Yeah, me too." So there you go. That's my
a metal fan.
my number 5 offshore.
I got
from
it.
Aporta Games.
I get it. Because the fan is made of metal.
Correct.
You're going to have to go.
I hate you both right now.
I know. All right. Where are we at? 5s?
Indeed.
My number 5 is a cooperative game, but you can also play competitively with a trader, without a trader, or without any players. You can actually just watch the game play itself. No, I'm kidding. This is from Devere, and it's called Kare Kare. I think. I don't know what I used
What
to
are those, like ninja parrots?
Sure.
They look cool.
They do look cool.
Those are the most buff parrots I've ever seen.
No kidding.
So this is a, it's sort of it's a tile laying game, and you're building up an island. It seems like a worker placement game. It seems like there's some resource management in it. You're also doing some exploration, a little settlement. The main thing I like about Devere Games, I don't always like their games. They are often very good at putting a big game in a small package. Now, I don't know how big this game is, and from the pictures I can tell it's about Carcassonne size, if I had to guess. But what I'm saying is their games tend to feel bigger than the box they come in. And it just looks really neat. The tiles remind me of old Cosmos 2-player games, those little tiles, right, like Hellas and stuff like that. Remember that? You might not know what I'm talking about, but it's small hexagonal tiles. Building up the island.
Back in the day.
I just like the look of this a lot. The cover is bizarre, yes. It's supposed to be like, a tribal. It has like a tribal vibe to it with discovering the island and utilizing its resources. Not sure why they are buff parrots, but whatever.
I love this art. I don't know what it is.
The
I
art
want to be a
really,
buff parrot.
Yeah, they're awesome. It's a really cool artwork. So.
And their beak is protected in case you hit them with a sword.
Yeah, man.
Right above it.
That's correct. So really excited by what this might end up being. It's got my attention. If nothing else, I'm captivated by what I'm seeing here.
You
Wanna
have
know
my
more?
attention.
I want to play my number 5 pick.
My number 5 pick is a game that they've been advertising for well over a year now. And it's another dungeon crawl type game. And that is Sanctum. This is from Philip Nieduk. He's a designer of Adrenaline from
Is this
CG
finally
Games.
coming out now?
Yes, it does seem like we've been talking about it for a
This
long
has
time.
not been out.
It has not been out.
Oh, okay. Thought it was.
This is a competitive, though, adventure game. It's not a cooperative dungeon crawl. You're building up your character, you're going through, but only one hero was going to make it through. And you got to pick the baddies and figure out who's the biggest, baddest hero of the bunch. Your chance to defeat demon minions. Look, Adrenaline was pretty good. I liked it a lot. I wish it was slightly more streamlined. I'm hoping this, well, I don't know if this will be more streamlined. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's a pretty big game. But my only concern about this is the box cover doesn't inspire anyone liking it.
I like
Looks
the
like
box cover more than the cards.
It looks like they're trying to get Diablo fans, for sure.
I guess so.
But the cards look like they're from Adrenaline.
To me,
If
it
it
just
were-
looks really generic. It's like sword, magic ring, some other crap from fantasy games. It's
Well,
like,
I'm
please.
hoping that it gets better as you go in. Again, this is hopeful list. Hopeful. That's my
You
number
need-
5, Sanctum.
Need bigger hopes.
Number 4.
All right, my number 4. My number 4 is a game coming out from Ludi Creations, and the title of the game is So, You've Been Eaten.
I've had this sentence said to me multiple times in my life.
Okay. So you've been eaten. The whole idea here is that you are minors, miners, not those underneath the age of 18.
Mine is
And-
not minus.
And you are mining in the bellies of huge beasts, and you're trying to get gems that you can use, but you're trying to, if I understand it correctly, you're trying to get out. If you get all the gems that you need,
Here we go. This
you
is gonna
can
get weird.
jettison out the front where you came in. If you don't get what you need and time runs out, you're
jettisoned out where?
you're not jettisoned out anywhere. You get pooped out like what happens normally when stuff gets eaten by other big things. So
What's the player count in this game?
that I didn't write down.
Oh,
and
I know
can't
what it is.
remember.
It's 0 to 2 players.
That's right. I remember reading that. It's 0 to 2 players. I remember reading the thing. BGG doesn't allow games to have 0 players listed on them, so it's actually a 0 to 2 player game. But we
Because
have
you
to
can
put
literally
1 to 2 players.
set the game up and let it play by itself,
Yeah,
which is apparently a selling point.
I don't know.
I don't understand play
I'll
by
never
itself.
play it that way.
Those games
How's
over
that?
there might be playing by themselves right now. We don't know it.
Oh,
What does
they-
that mean? Like, obviously, you still
I
have to
don't
move
know
the
what it
pieces.
means,
You
yeah.
have to move the pieces.
I
So
don't
it's-
understand this
it's
whole
one
0
half-
to 2 players.
That's true. You
Doesn't
should
make
get a
sense.
video camera, set the game up, and sit there for like
And
20
then-
minutes straight. They go back, liars!
Yes.
No
Exactly.
one was there, and the game did not play.
So
I know,
it's a
right?
1 to 2 player game. It says 0 to 2 apparently.
That's
but,
true. We have disproven that right here.
The theme is what really kind of grabbed me onto it. It has an interesting, funny thing. It does have variable player powers, dice rolling. I like all of those kinds of things. So the theme is what's drawing me in here. So
a
you've
cool
been
cover.
eaten.
That is a very cool looking.
Oh, I like the
Number
theme.
4.
I actually think the theme is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested in it. I just think the 0 thing's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They keep having these weird titles. Ludi Creations loves their weird titles.
Oh, they like.
And then we held hands. So you've been eating. It's like, what's going on, yo?
2 people got eaten. So we've been eaten, and then we held hands. It's like the Toy Story thing. We're going down into the...
Like Ratatouille?
No, Toy Story 3, where
Never
they all
heard
held
of it.
hands. It's one of the best moments of the movie. You didn't see
never-
Toy Story 3?
Nah, I don't watch
Heartless
garbage.
monster.
I have seen it. I remember it. My number 4. My number 4 pick is a crossover, y'all, with pictures. Conspiracy.
Oh, conspiracy.
Abyss Universe.
There you go. This is my number 10.
That's what the game looks like, Sam.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there's
This
actually...
is the purple cover, apparently.
Yeah, and the blue.
There's going to be
There's
others.
actually not. There's no pictures here of other stuff. There's very few pictures
It's
available.
just the artwork that's coming in the game, yeah. Or
Yeah.
at least those are all the box covers that they
I
have.
think
on
that's the only thing
entry.
they've released. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got box covers, but yeah, like Sam said, it just seems like the theme of Abyss.
Are they doing 5 box covers again?
Yeah.
They did not learn from last time.
They learned not a thing. What were they supposed to learn?
It's such a stupid
That
idea.
you're not supposed to make money?
I don't think it worked well. Stores had a problem with it because they didn't want to stock all of them.
Yeah, but the thing about Bombix is they're not a store. You know, it's like a weird thing.
Tell me more, Papa Z.
Okay, here you go. Okay, when you print multiple covers, nerds want to buy multiple covers.
Ah. Are you saying nerds will buy the same thing with variant artwork?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, have some.
I intend to buy at least 2 of these, possibly 6. But we'll
So
see.
I can have 5 to display and play the 6th.
That's right. Abyss something something conspiracy.
No, Conspiracy Abyss Universe.
Yeah, this was originally going to be called Abyss Pocket. Actually, was the working title.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
thank you for not
Yeah,
naming
Abyss
it that.
Pocket was nah.
All
Abyss
right.
in your pocket.
I'm interested in all the games on my list, but my top 4 I'm really interested in. So here we go. Number 4. This is based on a game that I love, and I'm hoping it continues that trend, and that's Orleans Stories.
Orleans.
I really love Orleans, right? It's a great game. But this one here is not a legacy game. It's a storytelling game where you're going to go through. And again, it's not one of those campaign things, right? But there's 2 stories. One of the stories is 8 eras, and the other is basically just a shorter story you can play over and over again, also known as the base game.
Okay. This is a standalone game?
Yes, you don't need Orleans at all. If you look at the picture, well, too late, but if you had looked at it looks different than the original game. You
I
see,
figured it might be like an extra board or something. I don't know.
I assume it's a different game as far as I can tell, because one of the 2 stories is an introduction to the game. It looks like it's a pretty big game, but it's hard to tell because there's not a ton of information I could find on it. But I do like Orleans a lot. I thought Altiplano was a pretty good game. This one looks like it's going back. I hope the 8-story campaign game thing can be played through at a reasonable pace. I'm getting a little tired. Or you could pick, play and come back to it anytime, and I have to remember stuff from the first one.
There's a lot of folks. There are a lot of these big investment games. Whatever happened to, palate cleansing? It's okay to replay something again. It's not a movie. It will be different. But everything's got to be, we expect 40 hours out of you if you want to feel like you got your money's worth,
Well, that's why this one is number 4 instead of number 1, but I'm still really pumped about it. So, Orleans Stories.
Story.
Number 3.
All right, my number 3 is coming out from Van Ryder Games, and this is called Frontier Wars. Frontier Wars. This is basically a card-driven miniatures World War II game. It has variable player powers. It has some pretty. This is I think off of a tabletop simulator or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's not
right.
exactly correct, but you're basically going to have a bunch of little miniatures. The board is rather diminutive for what it is, I think, has smaller miniatures, so I like that. It's going to have probably a smaller footprint. It's got variable player powers, already mentioned that. It's a card-driven, so I like that as well. You're playing cards out of your deck. Each person's going to take on one of the 4 major factions of World War II.
This is from Van Ryder Games?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what it was listed under.
Maybe they're like doing it in conjunction. Like maybe it's at their booth and
Yeah.
they're doing
Well, I mean,
conjunction.
they're-
This doesn't seem like their normal kind of game they make.
They're working with Awaken Realms Light on some things. I just reviewed a game
Yeah,
of
that's
theirs
true.
that's doing that.
Okay.
They're
Well, that's
working
cool.
with this company. I think it's going to be at Van Ryder Games. I'm pretty sure. I could have made a mistake, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. That's my number 3, Frontier Wars.
Cool. Haven't seen that one.
All
All right, my number 3 is a crossover.
what, did that made your list even remotely?
No, I just didn't
Oh,
see
okay.
that cover. It's a neat cover. It would have caught my eye. My number 3 is a crossover with both of you at this point, I think. Azul.
Oh, we knew the Azul would be on your list.
Azul Summer Pavilion from Next Move Games. Everything these guys said, and as Mr. Healy said, Rombai. Son, deal with that. That's it. I'm good. You don't even got to show this. Why are you showing this? Honestly, I mean, you're 99. You're just showing off.
Who was showing off? Roy? All
Roy
right.
Canada being like, oh, look. Bloop, bloop.
All right, my number 3
Bloop, bloop.
is from a brand new company,
Never heard of them.
Balois Group, but it's made by the same designer who made a game called Rush MD, which I don't think I played, and that's Sarah's Vision. This one I'm pretty pumped about a lot, mostly because of how the game looks. It just looks really cool. I like that cover, and I love this. Looks like Jenga mixed with a board game. I don't know.
Jenga is a board game. What are you trying to say?
Jenga's a piece of garbage. This looks cool. This is also. Z loves dystopian future.
I do, baby. Woo.
I like.
Bring me that suffering.
I like happy futures, and that's what this is.
So utopian.
Utopian. That's right. That would be a better
I'm
thing.
just trying to help out with the old consistency in term.
I'm okay with dystopian
Usage.
future if the people are happy.
Oh, hold up.
Keep on using that word. Do not think it means what you
I
think
guess
it
that
means.
kind of works. What's the game from? There's a game that is a dystopian
Oh,
future.
the game we just played. Paris.
New Eden. I
New
didn't play
Eden.
that.
That's a
but-
dystopian future, but the people there seem to be pretty cheerful about how
No, the
things
one
have
from
turned out.
Charterstone. The
Charterstone.
what did I say?
The one from Stegmaier.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The one,
Charterstone.
no.
Scythe.
The dice-driven
That's
one.
an alternative history. Sorry.
The one with like create a better utopia. What is that game?
Oh, Euphoria.
Euphoria.
That's a
thank
horrible
you.
world. Everyone's on drugs. They just think they're happy.
Well, they're happy technically. It's chemically induced happiness, but they are happy in a dystopian world.
Okay, fair enough.
So there you go.
But I like that idea. I'm not everything has to degenerate into people killing each other. And here,
Boring.
this is the year 2163. The agency is standing in the way. You are an agency operator trying to stop the singularity from taking over the world. So it's a story-driven cooperative game, and you're working through a series of story-driven events. At the end of each round, the leading event triggers. Danger builds on 3 special citizens. I don't know. You have to try to keep these people safe.
Okay.
It just sounds cool. I hope it's cool. It's a new company, so there's always that risk, right? But that looked cool. It looked
it
neat.
does.
Take
It
the Jenga
does.
things, put them on those rows and columns. I'm really hoping this game's cool. So
This is one of those games that looks like it could go either way, right? So much. This could be such a big crash and burn. I'm hoping it's good too, because you're right. It sounds different. I'm happy with different. But, oh man, come on. Pull this off.
indeed. All right, that's my number 3, Sarah's Vision.
Number 2.
Speaking of chemically induced happiness, my number 2 is coming from Too Fat to Fly, and it's called Moonshiners of the Apocalypse.
Oh, that's right. I remember when we talked about this one in the news.
Seriously?
Yeah, looks cool. It's a 4X game. Supposed to play in 90 minutes.
Lies!
We'll see if that happens. Hopefully.
It's either 4X or it plays in 90 minutes.
Artwork.
I'm going to guess neither.
artwork theme pulls into this. There's tile exploration, dice rolling, variable player powers, all of the things that really kind of strike a chord with me is in this game. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. I really am excited to do it. It looks really good. And
gotta say though, I really hate that whole this cover is worn fake look.
Huh?
See on the cover?
The
the whole cover is like, oh look, we found this game in the thrift store.
I think it looks fine.
It's a large gentleman.
Also, I was gonna say, I don't think that guy is physically viable. With those legs.
His legs are so tiny. That's a hilarious cover, man. I love it. Moonshiners of the
Like
Apocalypse.
the woman there is normal proportions.
I like it.
And the guy is essentially a slab of beef on legs.
I like it. I'm on board, man. Sam, I'm right there with you, man.
I like it.
I like
so that's
the
my number 2, Moonshiners of the Apocalypse.
Oh, that's a fantastic title, too. All right, my number 2 is a crossover with Sam. Once again, this is Skytopia. Skytopia in the circle. It's called Skytopia in the Circle of Time.
In the Circle of Time, correct.
Worker placement, engine building. There's not a ton of information out there for it, but I did find this, which shows you a little bit more as to what this might look like, you know. And it's got a bright look. It's got a good vibe to it.
It does.
So this picture sealed the deal for me. I was excited already.
There's that unique time wheel.
There it is, that wheel thing. I don't know. This is the kind of picture, those little square characters with what appears to be powers. That's the kind of stuff that, you know, gets me going. I'm like, oh, okay. I want to know what that is, what that does. How do I get it? How do I use it? So
that's cool.
Yeah, Cosmodrome is.
I didn't find that picture. Where did you find that at? On the interwebs?
Yeah, somewhere.
I suppose we could have just pulled the games out and taken pictures of them.
We don't have this.
Yeah, we do.
Where?
It's in a storage unit. I keep forgetting to bring it back to the main booth thing.
Along with God of War, or no, not.
Are you serious? We have this game?
With God of War is over there.
It came at the retreat.
Oh my goodness,
dude!
You gotta let a brother know.
Okay, sorry.
You know what? Forget it, man. Whatever. My number 2.
How does this change you looking forward to it?
Sky crap, yeah.
Sky crap, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, to stay on our consistent theming here of this euphoric future.
Okay.
And
euphoric
my next one.
Dystopia. Yes.
No, I think this one is It's a Wonderful World.
Definitely not dystopian.
No, it's another happy. Well, half of it. Half of it's.
Excuse me.
This is one of those ones where it's like, hey, the good people. What's the one where people lived in the
Elysium?
Elysium, right? This one here, it's a card drafting, engine building game, which is cool. You get 7 cards, and again, there's a campaign mode with expansion boxes, but there's a base game. You don't need to get into all that. I like the way these cards look. I like the whole this, turn the stuff in. This company, I like the way their games look. The designer has made several games. The one of his I think I like the most is Titanium Wars, and I thought that one was okay.
Oh, it's the same person. And that's the one you like
but that doesn't mean anything necessarily.
It does mean
looks
something.
cool,
It means
though.
I don't like the rest of their games. Possibly. I don't know the rest of it.
Okay, anyway. But I'm really looking forward to this one. Again, I'm leaning real heavily on my games list on theme. And this kind of thing, this disjunction between the rich and the poor in a movie, I'm always a big fan of that. Like, oh, we're living in over here, poor people like, no. And I'm like, let the poor people in. That's why I liked Elysium. I love that whole idea. That Alita Battle Angel was the same thing.
Yes.
Except we never actually saw the good part, so. We don't even know if there was a good part.
No.
The good part is a lie.
The cake is a lie. All right, that's my number 2.
And finally, number 1.
All right. You okay there? You just got up to go get dice, but it was quite a trip. How were the Himalayas?
Oh my word.
Why do we have 2?
2 20-sideds.
So what am I supposed to be trying to roll here?
You roll both of them, add them together. If you get 2 20s,
that's crazy.
you win the top 10 list forever.
We
You can
never
take the next
roll
3
these
off.
ever again. All right, here we go. Go ahead.
21. Well, at least you can't beat it with a single. 15.
Yeah, but that means I re-roll the other
That's
one,
how
right?
that works.
I like making up rules, man.
28.
So the biggest difference between them is the winner. So 2 for you, 13.
No,
Martin Wallace is not in charge of this game.
that is correct.
Man.
All right, how we want to do this, Roy? You want to keep things normal? Huh?
Roy is like, you do what you want, man. I got this.
Wow.
I throw pictures up, I take them down.
We're going back to number 10 and starting the whole list over.
Let's do it backwards.
All right. Yeah, let's do it backwards. That's good enough.
Oh no, I meant like from 1 to
You go
10.
ahead.
Alrighty. My number 1 is a game I'm really excited about, mostly, well, partially because of the theme, but also because of the designers. And this is The Magnificent. The designers, Alif Stephenson and Christian Munson Osby, they did Santa Maria, which I think is a fantastic game. I like their stuff a lot. If these guys design a game, I'm on board. But I also love the idea of this game where you're putting on a show, a magician or some sort of act. It has drafting dice, card mechanisms. I mean, there's like no red flags on this one for me. Everything about this is something I like. I like the designers, I like the publisher, I like the theme, I like the mechanisms. This one is, of all the games, this was an easy number 1 for me.
Wow.
I went through, I liked the idea of it. I remember when that game came out from the other magician game, the Illusion.
Triskelion or
Tricarion. I was also
whatever.
really pumped. I love the idea of magicians that are not actual sorcerers and stuff, but like illusionists and stuff.
Yeah.
There's very few games that have that as a theme, or putting on a show, and usually putting on a show is kind of like, what are we going to wear today? Like the Shakespeare or whatever.
Yeah.
But this one I'm really pumped about. So my number 1, The Magnificent, easily. I cannot wait.
I do like Aporta Games too. I like that company a lot. And in
I really
fact,
thought this would be on your list.
well, my number 1 is from Aporta, but it's a different game. And it's a game called Trails of Tucana.
So that one, I thought that other one would make your list though for sure. The
The
Magnificent.
theme doesn't grab me as much.
Oh, I love
don't
that
like the
theme.
cover very much. It looks, I don't know. There's something about it that it doesn't feel final.
I bet you like it though,
I might.
because you like all their games.
I do. I'll tell you, Aporta Games is one of the companies that I absolutely 100% get excited about when they make an announcement.
I'm surprised they're not a bigger known company.
I agree.
Honestly,
I think
their
they-
games are really good.
The only problem I could see is those guys are a little cannibalistic when it comes to their own games. They sort of produce their ideas a few too many times. That's okay. Some of the greatest designers in the world do that. But when you have a pool of designs that isn't that big, it's more apparent. It's more obvious. This one is a bit of an example for that. This feels a little bit like their Avenue game. So something of a roll and write or a flip and write. You flip over a card and you draw a path. Avenue was already that, but it was based on a square grid. This has hexes, and you are going to be traveling through these, connecting places, and scoring victory points. I'm also a big fan of that weird chubby cat at the top with a club.
Oh my word! What is that thing?
It's some sort of buff cat. He's friends with the parrots from the other game.
To work out
They go to
together.
the same gym. Anyway, I really like the look of this. I'm excited for it, and like I said, the designers are really fantastically smart dudes. This also feels like there might be a little bit of the Santa Maria game in it. It's the vibe might be there a little bit, and that's the same designers too. So that's my pick. I want it.
All right, my number 1 is the crossover with Z.
No, I don't
Wow!
think so.
I
Really?
already- Yep, I did.
Well, you already did the Abyss
it.
thing.
I said it. It should be simple.
Miyabi?
Nope.
The Buff Parrot one.
No.
Brazil.
Yggdrasil.
Oh, that's right. He already told us that was on the
I
list.
did. I actually said that.
No.
So
Pay attention.
now I've never played Yggdrasil before, so I've no expectations or anything like that going into this.
I've never played this with you?
No, I don't think so. I saw the 3D board. I saw the artwork, and I saw the fact that it was a story-driven campaign aspect to the game, and I like all 3 of those things. Not only that, but it also has variable player powers. It's a cooperative game. card driven, I'm on board. It looks really cool, and I want to play it more
And Odin and Thor.
than any of
and
these other things. Well, yeah.
Fenrir.
Norse mythology.
Fenrir. I hate Fenrir in the
the
original
one that
game.
moves another one.
Yes. There's every time you turn over one of these things, you're just like, why am I even trying? Because you're like, you think you're doing okay in this game, then they're just like, no, the original one. It's so hard, so hard.
You like? Have you played Ghost Stories, right?
Yeah.
Did you think that was hard?
Well, yeah. It's one of the reasons I don't play it.
Ghost Stories used to be called in the inside circles Yggdrasil Child Edition.
Sure.
He's not kidding. No, I think Yggdrasil is the hardest co-op I've ever played. I think.
I think so.
Um,
But this is different. Who knows?
This is different. I don't have any expectations going into it. I just hope it's good.
All right. Are there any
Cool.
games that we didn't put that you think we should have noticed or talked about? And again, they could have been on our list yesterday, or they could be on an upcoming list,
That's
or
right.
maybe we don't care about them, or maybe they just didn't, whatever. There's like, when I narrowed it down to games I was interested in, there was still almost 500 game possibilities. I mean, I narrowed it down, but what I'm saying is there's that many games coming out at Essen.
Wow, Tom.
No, on my list that I'm taking with me is 144 right now. That's still too many.
Yeah, I would say so.
It includes the stuff you want, so I don't know.
Oh, then no, you're good. More Lambus.
What about Taverns of Tiefenhall? That company
I played it
has
already.
Oh, you have?
I played it at a Dice Tower convention, one of the Dice Tower conventions.
Did you like it?
Is that the new I'm doing every game possible guy? Wolfgang Warsch? That's the Wolfgang Warsch one.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It has to be. The Taverns of Tiefentuffel. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me see it. Yes, that's it.
Oh, that is Wolfgang Warsch.
It's basically, it feels like that's pretty clever, or ganz schön clever, the board game. That's basically what it is, with a really boring theme. It's okay. You'll like it if you like his stuff. It felt like, why am I not just playing the simpler, lighter, more, just more visceral design? This is like making me jump through a bunch of hoops for the ultimately the same feel. You know?
Someone says, be on the lookout for the Warp. Sam might enjoy this one.
The warp.
Warp.
The Warp.
That's what happens when you.
Flotilla is one I looked at.
Yeah,
it looked
looks all right.
interesting.
Yeah.
What Flotilla looks like Waterworld from the perspective of an ordinary citizen.
Yeah.
You're the only person I know who likes Waterworld. So.
Tia.
Wow.
Crystal Palace looks pretty good. We actually have a copy of that here. We just haven't messed with it
I
yet.
don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, Taverns is going to be released from North Star Games. Figures they did Quacks. So. Alrighty. Well, that's pretty much it. We're going to get going here. All right. So this is our last live video till my Q&A Monday. We will have more videos going up. We had some go up today, tomorrow, and Saturday and Sunday. Some of them are Essen preview videos. We will be at Essen. Come by our booth. We're with Rathskellers. All right, that's in Hall 2. Is it in Hall 2? Hall 1.
No.
Hall 1. Anyway, the link will be. It's in the description of the video, I think. Isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, then I can just look.
Hall 2 D130.
Hall 2, D130, Rathskellers in your book. So we're going to be there. We have a ton of promos. As we're doing this, Kenny's out there packing the promos into suitcases. There's tons of promos, all sorts of cool things. But even if you don't want to get promos, come by and say hi to us. We'll be there. We're also going to be, we have a booth for playing games with people. That's in Hall 4. And you might catch us wandering around. We're doing a show on Friday. Come see us at the show. You get a ticket, just come by the Rathskellers booth Friday morning, and we'll hand them out to the first 500 people come or whatever. So you should be able to get it. I can't imagine.
Cool.
It's
No, there have been people who did not over the years.
Sam causes a rush.
Oh, I'm just saying. If
That's true. Don't come Friday like late. Is there any tickets left? There might be, but they're very mal. In the last 2 years,
If we trust,
I had them for 1 hour before they ran out.
Right. If we're going by what's happened before, you've got,
Are we more popular now?
I've had to tell a lot of people that sorry, we're out of tickets. You just weren't there to have to do that.
That's the Sam job, is to
I'm
say no.
just saying.
I'm the guy's like, I got tickets.
you say yes.
Well, it's exciting. It's kind of we've been focused on, at least I've been focused on like now.
Yeah.
And now suddenly Essen is here around the corner. I'm excited about it.
Chase.
We'll talk about these games afterwards when we get back from Essen. We'll show them off and everything to you. And we got more stuff coming in the future. But until then, I'm Tom Bassel.
I'm Z Garcia. Thanks.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.